Yo everyone, welcome back to the stream. Oh no, let me check these. There we go. Music is glitchy. Alright, okay, so I'll turn off. It might be Spotify. I know what's going on there, but it's fine. We'll play the mix. We haven't heard that one before, did we? Let me just correct everything behind the scenes here. There we go. Cool. Who's here? Bayos first. Mixwarp, of course. Deepal, Mike, Dublin. Hey, what's going on? Kessel, welcome back. Willkommen zurück, meine Freunde. Cool. Yeah, we'll keep the mix on. I'm looking into doing new mixes as well. Of course with the SEKORA music, because this is the only music I can play in the background without getting flagged. So I might actually look into some partner channels. I've been talking to my friends at Chill Your Mind, Suave and Songspire about this. And you know, we might start using their music as well for mixes, because they're willing to whitelist our channel. So that's great. And then at least we won't get all these copyright claims. So what you guys been up to? Like, how's it going? Is the audio fine? I noticed last time that it was a bit loud, so it was distorting a little bit. It was clipping a little bit because I still had the gains of my preamp too high on the microphone, because I was measuring the room acoustics with that measurement microphone. I'm not sure if I mentioned it last time about the cloud panels that I installed. I installed 2 cloud panels, 10 centimeters thick, 1 meter long and 60 centimeters wide. And at first it didn't really do what I wanted it to do, because I thought the peaks weren't getting removed. I have a couple of room modes, especially in the low end in my room, and I didn't get rid of the peaks, which I was kind of hoping for. And but there was a dip that got drastically less, so that was good, but especially the reverb time. So I talked to Tommy Loud about this. He looked into my my measurements. Let me grab those. Actually, I still have my measurements here, so there we go. I think this was the different ones. And as you can see right here, so it's a bit messy, but because these were measured at different times, so the loudness was a bit off. But as you can see here, this huge dip, this was before the cloud panels, and the red one right here is after the cloud panels. So as you can see, this is a bit more normalized, which is nice. And that peak is a little bit less too compared to here. So here's quite a big peak, but most of it is in the reverb times. So Tommy told me to actually look at these, and right here it's quite high compared to here. It's a lot lower. So if you want to know, yes, cloud panels, they make a difference. That's basically the moral of the story here. Let's actually let's dive into before we dive into the first demo, I think we have 4. If you still have demos, you can drop them in the Discord, in the livestream channel. Yeah, that's 4 demos. And a question from Pinkowicz. So I posted in the Discord that I'm actually looking for moderators for all our communities. So here on YouTube, but also on Discord, and we're looking into, or I'm looking into doing some stuff on Reddit as well. Get some momentum going there. I'm a pretty big Reddit poster myself. I post there under an alias, so I don't want to give away. I feel like with these internet forums, everyone is using nicknames that they're hiding under, so not using my real names there. But I posted a lot of music content and production videos and all that kind of stuff, and it did quite well. So I'm actually I'm very happy with Reddit, and there's a lot of great people on there. There's also a lot of trolls, but yeah, that's what you get with every internet forum, right? And I'm very happy to introduce, because we had a couple of great responses, and the guys who responded are also in the chat, so I'm very happy to see them. Very familiar faces. I'm talking about Mixwarp and Pinkowicz. So welcome to the team, guys. Give them a round of applause at home. They're gonna be community managers, sort of moderators, and I'm actually gonna go ahead and make them a mod right now. Alright, there we go. That's moderator number 1. And we got Mixwarp. Moderator number 2. Nice. Alright, they should now have moderator stat. So let's see if it works. So if you're spamming your links and everything, Pinkowicz and Mixwarp are going to put you in timeout. If you want to self-promote, you could do it on the Discord. No, but jokes aside, I'm very happy that you guys applied, and I'm very happy to have you on the team. The YouTube channel is, especially with the live streams, is just the beginning. And yeah, next one would be the Discord. I'm really happy, because the Discord, I started it about 2 or 3 months ago. I'd say 3 months probably, and it's grown a lot. So I'm very happy with that, especially like everyone that's that's around and actively posting in the Discord, and also here in the chat. It's always nice to see you guys. It gives me the energy to keep doing this kind of stuff. And I'm actually seeing that, that it's helpful for what I'm doing. So I'm not doing it for nothing. I like to give back. I like to talk, as you can see, especially about music. So yeah, I'm happy I can do this in our little community here. And we'll see what we can do for 2022. I have a feeling it's gonna be a big year. There's a lot of goals that have been achieved, especially towards the end of 2021, even in these weird times. And yeah, one of them was having a community like the SEKORA community. So thanks, guys. Thanks everyone for checking out. You know who you are. Let me go into the chat, see who there we have here. Marty, hey, welcome. Callum Can't Sleep, how's it going, man? Nice to see you again. Tommy Splash back, of course, also with the first demo. I'm feeling some organic house vibes coming up. I don't know. Or you might surprise us. Go full progressive here, we'll see. Who else? Yeah, looks nice. Alright, Pinkowicz and Mixwarp on a moderator. Cool. Alright. Let's go into the first demo. Also, for those who aren't subscribed yet, go do that right now. So you don't miss any of the streams. Also, after streams have gone live, like I always put the old streams on unlisted. So if you want to watch back old streams, you could either do that through my YouTube page, the channel page, or you need to be subscribed, because then you can see the notifications. So that's up to you. Plus it helps the channel grow. And also don't forget to drop a like, and don't be silent. If you got something to say hello in the chat. It's always nice to see familiar new faces. I've actually I was talking with a good friend of mine. He works for an alumni club. So I graduated in economics. I have a master's degree in economics on the Erasmus University here in Rotterdam. And all the alumni, they can basically join alumni clubs, and here you get connected with other people that have studied at the same university. For me, I really like it because we're starting up an entrepreneurs group, and I already met a bunch of people in different industries. So one is in like green energy, other is in finance, someone in marketing, someone is a photographer, another has like an online masterclass platform. So a lot of like-minded people, business people, but also in a very different industry and sector. And it kind of got me thinking if there is any wish from you guys for sort of similar mastermind groups. So I know, for example, I haven't really seen any music related mastermind groups. I mean, we have the Discord, we have our community, but a mastermind group sounds a bit exclusive, but it's not that fancy at all. Basically what it comes down to is you meet up with a couple of people, like-minded people that are very motivated or whatever in a certain area that you want to and there you want to accomplish similar goals. And including a mastermind group is you come together, for example, once a month or once a week for an hour or a couple hours, where you share your ideas, your visions. Goal setting is a big thing. That's something that I actively do. I always review my goals for every year, sometimes for certain months. And having a group of people around you that are like-minded and have the same sort of ambitions, doesn't have to be the same goals, but the same ambitions would be nice, to reflect on your goals and also have a sort of accountability. I think that's very powerful to have. So I already have quite a large group of close friends and mentors that help me with my music production and taking my skills to a new level. Or when it comes to business, I have business mentors, I have music mentors. I'm very fortunate to have met these people through via some people I met on dance fair, others I met through a friend of a friend of a friend. And it's very interesting, and I know it's very hard also to meet these people. I mean, I've been very fortunate with this because I was the program director for dance fair, so I know quite a lot of people in the music industry. And beforehand it was just connecting at physical events and getting to know artists personally, like EDX, Nora Pure. Who else? I'm good friends with Redondo, Gus, BLR, Bolier, Funkerman. Funkerman is like a mentor figure. He's a bit older than I am, but he's super experienced. He knows almost everyone in the music industry, and he's the founder of Flamingo Recordings. He was sort of co-owner with Fed Legrand back in the day, where they had that hit "Put Your Hands Up for Detroit" and a bunch of others. So we became kind of good friends. And I notice having these kind of people around can really elevate your, I don't know, your skills, your thinking, everything to the next level. So long story short, I'm thinking about setting up a mastermind group where we'd have, for example, maximum of 10 people. So just let me know your thoughts. We'd have a maximum of 10 people. That would be a monthly contribution fee, because, you know, obviously I would have either I would do it myself, like organize it myself, but I probably don't have time for it, so I'd have to pay someone to do it, and that stuff just costs money. But I personally like it because it's something that I'm looking for, that I want to have. So I want to have like-minded people to be a part of a mastermind group where you can set your goals and have some sort of accountability feature for increasing your productivity when it comes to music production. There's multiple guys that do this online. Like, for example, a friend of mine also does it, Music by Lucas. He has this online courses, but he's more like future house type of guy. It's not really my style of music, but I really like what he does with his YouTube channel. And there's other people as well that I've known of. But within this melodic house and deep house community, I rarely see this. So having the community on Discord is cool, but having actual meetings, like online meetings and chats and that kind of stuff is in my opinion invaluable. So I'm very curious to what you guys think. I'll also post it in the Discord later this week. I'm just curious to what you guys think on, would you be interested in this, and how much would you spend on something like that. For example, I with the alumni group, I also have a yearly contribution or a monthly contribution that I pay for, and it would be the same, like, you know, if you're going to a weekly course where they teach you karate or something, I don't know, it's something similar. So it's like a monthly contribution to self-development basically. So I'm just spitting some ideas, and I'm curious to what you guys think, so yeah, let me know. Alright, Dummy Splash, first one. Let's get into it. Turn this one off. Cool. First demo of today. Courtesy of Dummy Splash. That little string instrument, it's a bit too far in the background. I'd like it a bit more up close. So increase the loudness a little bit, and maybe a little bit more wetness, or play around with it. Some automation would be nice, you know, some automated delays or something. Yeah, I think like overall the melodic elements could be a bit more in the forefront, a bit more processed, give them a warmer sound, you know, maybe add a tape saturator or something like that to make it give it a bit of a warmer sound, a bit of a grittier sound. maybe a bit of wetness as well would be nice. Just very subtle, because right now it sounds very dry. And while I like what it does with the sound, you can still layer a little bit of wetness underneath, and it'll still sound very dry, but it'll make it a bit fuller. Because right now it's kind of like a very thin, empty sound. But yeah, again, you got that. I really like this. Really like listening to Dummy Splash's demos, because it's always quite refreshing to hear what he's coming up with. I feel like production-wise, you can still squeeze out that last, I'd say 10%. So do some more compression on your buses, add some more saturation here and there, like very subtle. Fill out the spectrum a bit more. Add some foily type of background sounds or noises, like a little hiss sound or like a vinyl crackle, that kind of stuff, to spread out your spectrum, to fill that up, to fill in the gaps a little. I think personally I'm a big fan of Bonobo, and I think if you were to really analyze some of his songs, you're really you really start to notice what he's doing. I know there's online there's this masterclass thing that he did from way back with Future Music magazine or something like that. It was like a CD that they gave with the magazine. It's really old. It's almost 15 years old, I'd say, or 14 years old. But there he shows how he made the song Kiara, and you really start to notice like all these organic elements that he implements in his music. And I feel like if you were to do some of what he does in his music, it would definitely take your music to the next level, because you already have the ideas. That's why I actually enjoy listening to most of the stuff you send in, but it's not quite there yet. You're very close. I feel like now it's just the details that need to be filled in a little. So the ideas are good, but focus a bit on the details and get that stuff done, and then your songs will they won't sound very different from what they're sounding like right now, but as a listener, for some reason it feels like it feels like it'll be much better. And the same goes with Bonobo. So his songs, most of his songs aren't very complex, but it's just the way that he produces it. Everything sounds super organic, mostly also because he plays most of the instruments himself. But the drums, for example, much of it isn't even quantized, as he said in an interview, I believe. And yeah, so he's like the perfect example, in my opinion, of organic music. And if you really listen to it, so for example the background sounds, you can hear like he always has these sort of foily type of sounds, like a recording on the street, or I don't know. Let me grab something on my phone. I recorded this. Okay, so I'm actually going to send this. Share. I'm going to send that to my laptop. So what I did was I had a voice memo. It's very simple. I just recorded this with my iPhone. I think it was yesterday. Every time I'm in an interesting place where I feel like, hey, this sounds pretty cool. There's just like this little waterfall thingy at the forest where I usually go for walks. And this is something I would just throw into This is just something I would throw into my song. Plus, it has a sort of meaning to it as well. I mean, it sounds like any other foily, really, like any other background noise. You can probably find dozens of these on Splice, but for me, because I recorded it myself, it makes it a bit more special. And what you would do is, actually, let me just throw it here in Ableton. So let me show you how to edit these things, because it does make a difference on how you make it sound. And that, in my opinion, no recording. So as you can see, there's a lot of low end. That's the stuff you don't want. You can probably filter it up until here. Get the super highs out of it as well. As you can see, like this stuff, it doesn't change the sound much, but you don't need those super high ends. And then you can use a utility. What I like to do is I make it extra wide. Because I don't want it to clash with anything that's in the center. So yeah, adding this on a very low volume, just looping that over. You could even introduce like a flanger or phaser or something like that. This is obviously too much. Things like these, adding this on your tracks will make a big difference. The rest is good. I like the drums. The drums are improving quite a lot lately. So yeah, you're getting there. Yeah, I like this. Yeah, so fix the melodic elements. Make sure that they're a bit louder. They're a bit more present in the mix. Maybe also, I mean, this is not the type of song for that. Personally, I'm a more like carry your tracks with strong melodic elements, like hooks and everything. Usually I go into, fix your hooks and make something about it, but that's not this type of song. This is more the type of song that, in this, you chilling with your buddies in a shisha lounge. Honestly, that's the type of vibe I'm getting. So that's what it is. So I can't really tell you to change something just because it's not my style. It's good in its own element. But I do have to say, right now, the songs don't have a lot of memorability. So if you want to increase that, you need to start thinking about, okay, what is the hook of my song? What is that little thing that I want people to remember of my song, that gets stuck in their head, like a little melody or a nice chord progression or something like that, or a vocal that people will remember. That's something that you might want to consider next time you're producing stuff, because that's what I'm kind of missing in most of your tracks. Actually, doesn't make them bad. It's just different. But I'm telling you, because I just want you to know that if you do want your tracks to stand out and be more memorable, that's something to consider. And you also notice that that's something Bonobo does a lot, and that's why he's so popular and so many people listen to his music, Cool, let's go into the next one. Let's see if we got any new ones. I can't sleep. Cool. I think 5 demos for today is actually quite nice. So we'll keep Callum. Kessel also. Okay, so Kessel and Callum. Yeah, well, Callum will be the last one for this stream. Just go into bios. Okay. Yeah, cool. Well, let's hope I don't get flagged for it. Yeah, and also like I just have my regular iPhone that I recorded the last one. I just recorded it with my iPhone, but I also have this little microphone, directional microphone that you can insert in your iPhone, and that increases the sound quality by a lot. And it's also nice for podcasting or on the road recording, that kind of stuff. It's like a multi-directional microphone that gets at high level recording on your phone. So that's something that's actually quite nice. And I also have a pocket recorder too that I usually use for this kind of stuff. But I didn't have any of those with me when I recorded, so I just used my phone, and it sounds pretty decent. I like these arps. Really nice. I'm not quite sure about the melodic parts. They feel like they're fighting for their place within the song. They're not really complementing each other. So with the arp and the guitars, right now the guitar is taking over, but what I'm kind of missing is how are they working together? So you need to have one main melodic theme, and they can alternate, but if you have alternating melodies that are main melodies, make sure that they do sort of complement each other. So, they're taking over, not that you have completely different melodies. And that's kind of what I'm feeling right here. So this arp doesn't really work with the guitar, in my opinion. So yeah, maybe try some alternatives on that guitar. Come up with some different melodies, and come up with the guitar melodies while the arp is playing. So you just loop that part with your chords and your arp, and then come up with some guitar melodies or riffs, and hopefully you'll get into that flow, and it'll naturally come to you. Because right now it feels like you've made these melodies separately without playing one or the other, And then you get great ideas, but great ideas doesn't mean that they necessarily work together. So yeah, you can always save, like I get this quite often as well. I'm working on a song, I have like a main ARP or something that you know, that I really like, and then I just start jamming on a solo instrument that I feel like, oh, I'm really getting into it, and then by itself it sounds great, but then once I start playing other elements with it, I start playing it together, then it doesn't really fit the song. And that's what I'm kind of getting with the guitar right now. So it can work, but try to play like as a jam session, try to play or come up with melodies while the rest is playing, because then you have a bigger chance of things actually working together. And right now I would say, like, sound wise it's fine, but it could use a little processing, because the guitar is a bit in the back. I feel like there could be a bit more clarity, so some saturation would be nice. You can also bring it a bit forward with some compression, and maybe like a chorus or some extra reverb or delay would also make it a bit fuller. But that's just details. Right now I'm talking about the melodical part. Again, this is just what I'm hearing. Doesn't necessarily make it right. It's just my feedback. What I usually tend to do with feedback is, if let's say I send a song that I made to 5 people, most of the time when I send a song to someone for feedback, even if the song is already amazing, it's already close to finished or whatever, most people will always try to find something that they can comment on, so as to give you at least some feedback, just to be, you know, helpful. But that doesn't necessarily mean that they're right. Same goes with my feedback. I'm just, you know, telling you what I'm thinking, what my opinion is, how I interpreted your music, and that doesn't necessarily make it right. Doesn't mean that you have to change it or anything. So that's how I like you to consider feedback. And same goes when I get feedback from others. 5 people will probably say 5 different things, but if at least 2 or 3 of those people that I send it to say the same thing without having talked to each other, then I probably start looking into it and thinking, okay, if multiple people hear this, then there's probably something wrong with it. Then I will check it again, and if I actually think that there's something wrong with it, then I'll change it. Sometimes I get feedback from 2 people. They would say this is this, blah, 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 blah. But that's just how they like to hear it, and that doesn't necessarily make them right in all cases. So yeah, I think that's the way you should take feedback from anyone. It's always nice to point out flaws in your music. That's what feedback is for. Essentially, it's your choice to do something with that feedback or not. Unless it's a label that says you need to fix this, otherwise we're not going to sign your track. So then it's you know, a bit more pressure on changing your sound if you want to get signed. But that's a whole different discussion. Yeah, overall I like the melodic elements. I do feel like some parts the mix could be a little bit better. So start looking into, you know, bussing your sounds, bussing your synths, your leads together, your chords together, processing them through bus groups. That's just something I can sort of hear that didn't really happen with this song. I know it's a demo, it's a work in progress, but it's already nice to have in your workflow to start grouping stuff together. And also, you know, when you're sending in demos, to make sure that it's as finished as possible, because then you can actually learn from the feedback. If you're sending in a track that is for your production skill 80% finished or 90% finished, then it's quite, and this is not towards you, Beos, this is just in general. always try to make something as finished as possible to your own skill level, because then I can actually know, okay, this is 100% finished for you, and then the feedback you receive will make a much bigger impact than, you know, when you're just 80% there, let's say. Because I know you can, I've heard tracks of yours that, you know, were production-wise mixed down better. So I know you can do it. It's just a matter of, you know, putting in the extra time. But I like it. The vocal also makes it quite cool. And I'm not sure where this vocal is from. Like you said, it's probably some well-known vocal, but you can easily get someone to sing these kind of snippets for you. I mean, there's websites like soundbetter.com, I think, where you can easily find yeah, I think this is it. You can easily find singers, and, you know, just getting a bunch of people from here, like getting someone to sing short or vocalize or something. I think I've used, see, it automatically goes to someone I've hired in the past, but he's not on there anymore, unfortunately. So I've used this one before, and this is kind of the same as Sound Better. It's but Sound Better is, I believe, partly owned by Spotify. I think they're like investors in it or something like that, because I saw Spotify promoting this. But Vocalizer is basically the same. You can get amazing vocalists for a couple $100. I had someone sing for less than $100 on a track. Yeah, when you think about it, it's kind of insane. And the quality is super high too. So yeah, I do recommend, you know, as a place, having vocals as a placeholder is nice. But once you think like, okay, my song is actually getting somewhere, just, you know, go work with a vocalist. Probably the best thing is to have a friend that is a decent singer, and then, you know, you also start to learn more about working with someone else, with a vocalist in particular, and also processing vocals, making vocals sound better. That's something that I can improve on as well. Sometimes when I hear my vocal tracks, I feel like, oh yeah, I could have, you know, done a better job on the mixing. But yeah, it's something that it's just experience. You need to start doing this, and eventually I recommend everyone to at least make a couple vocal tracks. Personally, I make quite some vocal tracks, honestly. But yeah, go check it out. It's and I'm not sponsored by these platforms at all, just so you know. No, it's okay, but you can always, you don't have to hire someone for a full-on vocal. You can always post your own job. Let's say I need a couple ad-libs or I need a couple phrases, and then just offer $50, something like that. And I'm pretty sure you'll find some people that'll do it, because it also depends on how much time they have to spend on it, you know. And yeah, and you know, if you don't want to spend any money and just learning, that's cool, you know. It's you don't have to do it, as long as if you're learning and you're using other people's vocals for learning purposes. Just, you know, notice that, you know, you can't release it. That's the only thing. But yeah, in the future, if you do want to release your own original tracks, that's a good platform to check out, both of them. We're gonna go into Pink Witch. It's at the Comfort Zone, Melodic Techno collab. Cool. With whom? Start playing this. Ooh, Tommy is in the chat. How's it going, Tommy? I'm quite surprised you have some time off from analyzing all those graphs that I sent you. Tommy is the acoustical wizard. Huh? Oh. Why am I... Okay. Surprise track by Hurtright. Don't know why that started playing, but we got Pinkowitz. I like that donkey bass you got there. I do feel like that ARP that's already playing here. It's very static, and maybe do some processing as well. So it sounds it sounds a bit different over time, because right now it's very same, and try to get some movement going on. You can do that with automating some left-right panning, a reverb that's being filtered in and out very slowly, or stuff like that. Like very minimal stuff, but make the sound a bit more interesting. Yeah, so this part right here, that's a nice part to, introduce some atmospheric sound, some effects, some ear candy, some atmos in the background. Add some automation on that ARP, cutoff filters, release times. Change it up a little. This is the part where you have to start building tension, build some momentum, that people are like, ooh, what's gonna happen? I don't know what's gonna happen. That's that part. And right now it doesn't have that at all. So that's something that you want to look into. Like, at least filter it out a little, so I have some movement in there. Yeah, more reverb, like building it up, building some tension. I feel like having a bit crusher on there and automating a bit crusher, either through RC20 or something like Decimort. Personally, I don't use Decimort plugin, I don't have it, but I saw some people use it and it seems quite good. I feel like this crunchy, bit crusher on that sound would sound really cool. Also, this transition you could smooth that out a little by adding an echo or a reverb at the end of that ARP, and then automating it like duet. So it sort of naturally trails over into the break. What I usually do, I usually do this with all my songs, honestly. So I add echoes on the tail of, let's take Centerwood for example. Let's see. Yeah, as you can hear, yeah, not so much on this one. It's a bit less, but normally you can really hear that trill go. There definitely is some in here, but it's being overshadowed by a different type of sound. But it's also a sound that's based on other elements in the song. So if you do that right, you know, automating reverbs or echoes and that kind of stuff, you don't actually need external effects to to cover up your transitions. Basically, you can just add your own effects. You can make your own effects by using echoes and reverbs. So and then if you want to get extra fancy, do stuff like phasers, you know, bit crusher. I don't know. I think RC20 is great for that kind of stuff. You know, adding some extra crunch to your effects, and making them yourself. Your songs will sound a lot more original than just slapping some samples on there. Not that you did that, because right now your transition doesn't have either of those. But yeah, if you do that with automations, it will sound a lot more natural, in my opinion. Okay, so when I'm listening to this breakdown, the question I have is, where is this going? I feel like that's a question you should always ask yourself when you're making breakdowns. Where is it going? What is the story here? Where's the, you know, what are you building up to? There needs to be some tension building, and right now there's no tension at all. So that's something that you might want to look into, you know, build some tension, cut out that low end, get some little snare drum rolling, you know, build some energy that people are I want to lose my mind, you know, I'm at a rave, I want to go crazy. That's what you're supposed to build here. And I feel like, especially when you're making club music, that's one of the most critical points to focus on. This needs to sound correct, because this will make or break your song. If you can build momentum and, like, you know, tension and excitement in this area, and then, you know, release that tension here with your drop, yeah, that's what the whole club track is about, basically. And it's just missing that. And also some of the elements, you know, you could filter them out a little, or at least stop them before, because right now the drop doesn't really hit that hard, because there's still other elements playing, and they're kind of overshadowing what's happening. So create a bigger contrast is what I'd say. And it's also not bad to have silence in your song at some point, you know. Yeah, I think it's just you know, you have your structure, the arrangement is good, you have your draft. I'd say this is a draft, and you know, from now on you just fill in the gaps. You just start filling in elements, you know, that need to be fixed, and that's just, you know, details. And listening to other songs, like how did they do it. I think that's also a question that you posted. So I'll go into how I do that. You know, obviously I can't drop in some of the tracks that I take reference, because I'll get flagged. But what I can do is I can drag a SEKORA song in there in Ableton, and I'll show you. And I'll drag in a song that's not mine. So I'll start analyzing someone else's song, because, you know, if it's my song, I obviously know what's going to happen or how everything is made. But if I take, for example, take Jules' song, then yeah, it will sound completely different, and I'll have to start guessing what he did and guessing the elements that are being used. So I think that's actually a good, because we had Pinkwich, so the next would be Deepal. We have 3 more. So I think it's a good time to actually go into your question and start doing it. So I'll grab a track, a SEKORA track. Let me play this. I'll grab a SEKORA track and then I'll show you what I usually do when I'm taking reference in someone else's song. Let me check some music. Where is my music? SEKORA folders empty. Do I have it? Yeah, there we go. Extended mix. Let me just drag that in there. Cool. All right, so we got Ableton over here. I can remove this. This is my my default template. I'm actually working on a new template. I'm editing some of the old stuff. But what I always have at the top of my template is a reference track. And the reference track is basically to drag in reference songs. Very simple. As you can see, it's not outputting anything. Now it is. And the reason that I'm doing this is that it's going to external out. So if you want to make a reference track in your in Ableton, you can make an audio track, put it on external out. This bypasses the master, because otherwise if you were to do a regular track, it would send it to your master and then it would get double mastered, and that's something that you don't want. So put this on normally it's on master, put this on external out, so no processing. Then I also tend to look at, okay, so this is 122. I tend to turn off the warp function, because the warp function usually clips songs. Right now, as you can see, it's not clipping, but actually okay, well, this one, it doesn't really matter that much, but a lot of times it starts clipping when you use the warp function, so I tend to turn that off. And I'm gonna lower the volume a little so you don't get blasted with loudness. And here you can already see the arrangement of the song, so that's the first thing that I would note. I'd say, okay, 1 minute intro, and you can do this with color coding if you want. It sort of depends on what you're looking for in a reference song. I tend to use reference songs for arrangement and for EQ. It's also a good one to compare a little and to check. Yeah, you can check loudness levels, but it's mostly like EQing, arrangement, and checking if my song is missing something, which usually comes down to drums. Drums, I sort of feel like sometimes my drums are a bit empty, so I tried to fill them out a bit more lately. And yeah, looking at, you know, what people are using, basically what kind of loops, what kind of sounds are they using, what kind of samples, what kind of rhythmic percussion elements are they doing. Am I gonna use a loop, like grab a loop that works, or am I gonna, you know, make my own percussion loop or rhythm or something like that. So when it comes to arrangement, you can basically code these, you know, insert locator. Yeah, there we go. Intro kick. So you could do this, you know, like check, okay, what's happening here? Got the clap, drum loop, little shaker. Let's turn up the volume a little here. In the background, main ARP is building very slowly, a lot of reverb. We got a pad going on. What I would do, I would take a notepad, just a regular old notepad, you know, something like that, and just write that stuff down. Okay, what's happening in the first 30 seconds of the song? Because that's usually like half of the intro. Then the second 30 seconds. Okay, kick is coming in. Full kick. He's building more of that pad. He's building more of the ARP. The pad is becoming bigger. It's being filtered. Another pad just entered. So from here, and another pad was being added. I would write all these things down. Like, what are they doing? And then you can basically take a song like that and just recreate with your own elements what they were doing. Because if it's a song that you like, if it's a song that's produced well, that you know works well, is getting good support, maybe some plays, whatever, then you can just copy what they've done. And trust me, when you make your own version of someone else's song, it will sound nothing like the original, unless you're blatantly copying someone's chord progression and melodies and, you know, vocal melodies and whatever. As long as you don't do that, you can even be in the same key and it will still be a different song. It will sound completely different. So don't be scared to do that. Anyway, just write everything down, everything that's happening. Okay, and then we're going from 1 minute break. So you can add a locator here. Breakdown. What's happening? Piano's being added, little melody. Chords are being introduced. Vocal enters. Add locator, vocal. And what's happening in the background? We got pads, we got chords. Little riff around here. You hear that little riff? This is the ear candy that I always talk about. So shout out to you, Jules. You're doing a good job. I mean, he knows, of course. But this is, it's so small, but it's so crucial because it triggers your ear to start listening to the song again, and it makes everything that's repetitive not repetitive. So these kind of little ear candy things at the end of your bars, you can do it like every 4 or 8 bars, have something going on. It makes a big difference in your song. So, and he also uses it as a transition. It's a very simple sound. It might even be a sample. I know Jules probably doesn't use samples like this, but it could very well be a sample. I know I've done that in the past. And if you want to have an easy way of finding samples that work with your song, you go on Splice, and you can filter on melodic elements. You can even filter on genres if you want. I don't really recommend doing that because you can find a lot of cool sounds in different genres. But you can find like melodic elements or melodic loop or little effects. And then you can just filter on the key of your song. So let's say your song is in A minor. You can just add A minor to Splice and you will find all types of sounds in the right key, and it will all sort of work. And then you can just play your song in the background, and then, you know, go through these sounds until you find something that catches your ear. Bam, you got a filler sample. You know, just put some reverb on there, maybe add some RC20 to spice it up, and then it's probably unrecognizable too. Okay. Main hook of the song, so okay, we can add this here. Hook. Also notice that the synths in the background became a little bit bigger, a bit more like ooh, you know, this euphoric moment. We got a bass line going on, but not too heavy, so there's a little bit of sub in there, but not too much. And notice towards the end that the sub is being filtered out. Why is that? Because you're creating space for the drop. You need to filter out your sub before you drop. It's very important to do this. Also notice a little dun 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 dun. That's the kind of stuff that builds tension. Dun 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 dun. It's very subtle, but if you don't have that in here, it makes a big difference. Little sweep. That yeah, you could, I mean, it's super obvious, but okay, drop. And then listen to everything that's going on. We got the drum loop, bass line, full kick, that rhythmic little pluck synth, arp, vocal, obviously. Nothing much changing yet. So now, from here, there's another rhythmic element in the background. Dun, 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 dun. That's being added. That's new. So your ear will start noticing this, like, oh, it's something new going on. And it's and then there's also an extra pad that was added. Vocal ad-lib. Synths are becoming bigger and bigger, so stuff is being filtered out or opened up. Like the filters are being removed. Maybe some extra reverb. And then we're going into the second break. So this is how you can analyze songs. And then, you know, in the meantime, I would write everything down. Like, okay, this is what they're doing, this is what they're doing, this is what they're doing. With this song, the drums are kind of simple, but they work because it's a vocal song, so it doesn't have to be complex. Some club tracks are a bit more complicated when it comes to drums, especially when you have like this, deeper Afro house type of stuff. That's where, you know, you have a lot of percussion elements going on, and if that's your kind of vibe, you can analyze some of those type of tracks. But yeah, that's kind of how I go about it. And then here you can see it's super simple. So we got 1 minute intro, we got a 1 minute break, we got a 1 minute drop, we got another 1 minute break, 1 minute drop. We got a, what is this, like a bridge probably, and then an 1 minute outro. I mean, it's this arrangement is as standard as it gets, but it's so effective, so you don't have to reinvent the wheel. Basically, you just take something that works and apply that to your song. You don't have to go crazy and think everything on the fly. You can just grab a track that you like and reference that. Sometimes when I make music, I have 3 reference songs, 2 or 3, and I keep them in my project. I'm not even ashamed of it, because everyone does this. Everyone. even the big ones, the big boys. So it's really not that bad. And eventually, of course, I've also made quite amount of tracks where I didn't reference any songs, and I just made an arrangement the way I see fit. Is because eventually, once you do this enough, you start to see like, oh, this is, you know, pretty basic stuff. When it comes to arranging a song, it's usually A-B structure. So, you know, very simple. A, B, A, B. Done. That's it. Maybe this is a C. This is extended B. So this is probably B. And then you have outro, intro. And that's your song. It's really not that hard. So yeah, that's what I do for comparison. Then you could also analyze someone else's song by what do we got? You can also analyze someone else's song with something like an imager, for example, or you can use levels. There we go. I honestly, I don't really use this on other people's tracks, but you could check this out. Probably have to put it in as well. So we got about 9.5 loves, not too crazy. Cherry peak, stereo field, it's all pretty good. Dynamic range. That's what you can try, and then, you know, you compare that. You can A/B. So when you have your full song, you can solo, because if it's not soloed, you don't hear anything. Then you would normally hear your own song that's being played here, right? And then if you want to, you know, you play your own song, you can see your meters on your master, for example. You would have a levels here. You could check everything here. You check your loves or whatever you want to check, you know. It's playing, blah blah, and then you want to, you know, A/B it with the other song, and there you go. You just have to click on solo, and then, you know, you click on solo again, then you hear your own song, solo, you hear the other song, you get the gist. And yeah, when it comes to EQing, you can actually use, I know like Pro Q has this, where you can do, I made a video on my on a different YouTube channel. It's called EQ matching. I have to check where it is on. Okay, so here. Okay, so here you have EQ match, and basically what you do is, so this would be the reference song, and you just start playing, you record. Now it records the input of the reference song. And then I'm gonna do input, record the input. The input would be your own song. So normally you would play your own song then. And then you click match and it will match. So right now it's messed up because it's matching the EQ to its own EQ. So that doesn't make any sense. But if you were to put this EQ3 or a Pro Q3, put that on your master. First, you play the reference song. So you would play this song. But if you do this, you would have to output it to your master, otherwise it doesn't get detected. Then Pro Q with the Match EQ, they make a profile of the input of the reference, sorry. So you have to, okay. So, okay, first you have to record your own song. It's just playing regularly through, through the Pro Q, because it's on your master. They will analyze what's happening in your song. You'll see this nice little curve. And then here you can either do an external sidechain. I usually just use input and then record off the input what's coming from while you're playing the reference song. So yeah, it's kind of hard to explain, but once you do it, if you do it once, you will never forget. And then you get a nice little profile, and you'll see how your balance compares to someone else's mastered balance. Most of the time, because it's done before mastering, you will have to turn down the reference track a little bit, so it's about the same same dB, same loudness level, because otherwise your graphs will look crazy. But yeah, the Magic Q, that's kind of how I sort of reference other people's tracks sometimes. So if I feel like someone has like a really tight mix, and for example their low end is really nice, or there's something in the high ends that I'm not quite getting, like I'm not hearing myself yet, then I just grab someone else's track that I feel like, okay, they nailed this part, and then I'll put in a Magic Q and see where it takes me. I feel like that's all the reference I do really. I know like this mastering in the mix company also has a little plugin called Reference. I haven't used it yet, but that could also be nice for something similar. Okay, we're going into DePaul. See here, let me check. UOAK for president. Oh man, that would be a bit much. I would do a lot of cool stuff though. I would make music production. I would make that a mandatory class in school. What else? What else would I do if I were president? Free sample packs for everyone. You know, make that a sort of mandatory health benefits thing that everyone needs to have. Like a Splice subscription, but for public knowledge, like a library. So instead of having libraries of books that are available for free, we'd have music libraries that are available for free. Stuff like that, you know. Make the world a better place. I would have community motorcycles, because I think everyone should at least ride a motorcycle once in their life, because it will change your life. Don't listen to the naysayers that are saying like death machines or whatnot. A motorcycle will change your life, trust me, because it's, you know, it's very liberating. It's very freeing feeling. So community motorcycles, definitely. Or maybe not, because here we have these rental scooters. They go about 40 kilometers per hour max. Those things are dangerous, man. Like I rode those a couple times, but people abuse them. People just mistreat them, destroy these things. I don't even know why. I feel like a lot of people fall with them and just, you know, or drop them. Every time you ride these things, there's always something broken. Like whether it's the wheel is crooked, or the handlebar, something is just crooked, or brakes aren't working properly, and then you're going 45 kilometers an hour on this thing. Super dangerous. But anyway, so imagine having a motorcycle that's like abused, and something doesn't work on your motorcycle. That's, you know, can be fatal. So maybe I'll take that back. Okay, let's just get into the music.
Hey everyone, this is...
Why am I getting Hurt Right's podcast all the time? Oh, I like this. Especially that vocal. That's cool. It's cool, I like it. Let me check the chat. Hey Leo, what's going on, man? Conductor 71. Hello, welcome. DePaul's in here too. Great. I really like that vocal. It's very subtle. It suits the vibe of the song. It's nicely processed. ARP is also nice. I feel like the ARP could use a little bit more processing because the ARP is so present in the song. It's such a big part of the song, and could use a little, like maybe some panning left and right, maybe some chorus, you know. Don't overdo it, but give it a little bit more love. That's what I would say. And some automation. We'll keep saying this. Automate. So this is also a nice part to, you know, automate some effects like a reverb or an echo. So your main lead, a little ARP thing, echoes into the breakdown. It doesn't go from one thing to another. So like super robotic. So it just like smooths it out. Then if you do that, you don't even need like effects to transition, because it just naturally transitions into it. I mean, you already have that sort of, but it would be nice to do that with your main element. I like the pianos too. Pianos are great. I was actually thinking, okay, this would be a perfect moment to introduce a little rhythmic drum loop, and you did. So perfect. Nice job. Also that block in the background. Dun, dun, dun. Make it bigger. Please be bigger. Yes. Come on, build it up. Build it up, more tension. I feel like that new ARP that came in, you can bring it a bit more in the forefront. You know, some distortion or some saturation, bring it a bit more up front. Because it's a bit in the background right now. Overall, good. What I'm thinking though is you change the, like, I really like the song so far. I like everything about it. Some parts could be, you know, a bit more attention to detail. Maybe the mix down could be a little better, but melodically, like song wise, I really like it. Only question I have though, what is the theme of your song? The theme is it this right here, or is it this? I would choose this one, and I would make this a secondary ARP, like a secondary thing that comes in the background a bit more subtly, maybe in the breakdown, but make this your main theme. If you revolve the entire song around this, I think it would sound better. It would make it a better song. Yeah, that's what I think you should do. Take this and build the entire song with it, because now it's just only this part that has the main theme, and right here there's something completely different going on. It would be nice if it just had like all. It doesn't mean you have to slam that melody all over the place on every part of the song. You could take snippets of it, you can introduce it a little and take it away again, and build slowly towards it, but at least try to tease it somewhere around here, so it's a familiar melody and not something new to hear. should say. Yeah, overall, really nice track. Really enjoyed this. So just needs a little work. That's it, really. And try and make an extended mix too, so you get an idea what it would sound like if you would actually, you know, play this at a club or something like that. You know. Cool. Yeah, there's nothing much to say about it really. So I'm just gonna go to the next one. I fixed the volume, turn the mouse by myself. So I'll put you in and try to improve it with some samples. Cool. I'll have a listen. Honestly, I'd say you don't really need Exhale or Arcade. I mean, they're nice, but you can find very similar things in others. There's other synths that do this, you know, it's not unique. They're not the first that made something like this. You can probably find free libraries with vocals, and it's just that, you know, Exhale or Arcade are the most famous ones, I'd say. You're welcome, dude. Very nice track. So just keep working on it. I like the hats. I think this was something I mentioned before, where you had your hats, like one of the drum loops was panned to the left, and it's nice that you balance it out now. So now it's more like ping ponging. What I think would be nice, because right now you have your hats are very like ping pong, so that can get quite annoying at some point. What you can do is layer those alternating hats and layer it with a hat that's in the middle. So get one hat that's in the middle, goes like just offbeat hat, and then those panning hats can be underneath it. So you have the offbeat hat, which is that's the main driving factor, and then you have these little ping pong hats on the sides. Because right now it sounds cool, but if the main hats are ping pong all the time, it can be a bit trippy, like too much. So try to keep the offbeat hat in the middle. Try to keep that centered. And then the rhythmic ones you can play around a little. This is cool. I like this. I feel like we're getting a lot of very interesting demos today. I mean, Dummy Splash is always there to bring that, organic vibe, but I'm hearing that a lot in the other demos too. I really like that. It's quite refreshing from the standard super saw leads, or the saw leads and plugs. I'm really feeling this groove. Nice job. Really nice job. Maybe open up that filter a bit. Only thing, it's quite hard for me to hear right now, but maybe check the low end a little. I feel like your kick is a bit too long compared to because when you have these sustained bass lines, because the bass is quite in your face, quite heavy, you know, like there's a lot of sub in there. Try if you have a sub like that, try to keep your kicks short. Most of the time, kicks from sample packs are quite long. They're about, I'd say, I don't know. I'm not gonna make any estimates, but they're quite long, and they do this because then when you have a long tail, you can cut it down a little. So let me show you. If you just grab, okay, I'll just take a kick. I'll take this kick. Where is it? Hello. There we go. Let me drop this on. There we go. Just here on the audio track. So this is the entire kick. And you know, this is already quite short. It's not too insane. No, this is normally where you would have your kicks, right? So if I wanted to make, you know, normally I'd say about halfway through, so to about here. This is about the maximum you'd have for kicks in our genre. In progressive house, sometimes you want to even have it a bit shorter. So this would probably be ideal, having it this size. So this tail will only interfere because the transient, that initial punch that you're getting, you don't really need the tail of it. You're already getting that punch. You're already getting that little sub hit. And if you have too much low, if you have like a lot of sub from your kick with a long tail, and then you have a lot of sub from your bass line, it starts cluttering each other. Even if you're side chaining. So maybe with your song, make your kick a little bit shorter. Because honestly, this kick, the short one, will sound a lot better than this one when it's combined with a sustained bass. And if you listen to it, it doesn't sound that different, honestly. It's very similar, but it does make a big difference in your mix. And it also gives your mix a bit, your bass, your low end, a bit of room to breathe, so to speak. So give that a try. Check your kick and see if you can shorten it a little, and what it does too. You can even do that in your, because I usually play kicks in is just play them in a sampler, but you can also do this with notes. You can shorten the notes and then lower the release, for example, or the decay times. It'll also shorten your kicks a little. So yeah, play around with that and see what sounds best, because right now it sounds a little bit like your kick and bass are clashing, or it's just too much low end going on. So none of them gets the room or breathing that they require or need. So it's very muddy in the low end. Like everything's like it's like that's kind of how your low end sounds right now. If you would play this at a club, it would just be like one. That's how the low end would sound. Yeah, how do you even pronounce his name? Yalcin Efe? I don't know. I've seen a couple of his videos. He does cool stuff, for sure. Maybe do a collaboration with him at some point. I don't know. Maybe if I sign one of his tracks, then he would do a collab stream. Who knows? But yeah, he analyzes it quite nicely. So these kind of things, yeah, it's worth checking out, for sure. Yeah, great demo, man. I really like it. It's just some points could use a little bit of, yeah, maybe like mix down. Really like the sound here. Bass line also very nice. What you can do here, because there's a lot of low end in this bass, and you don't really need that much, especially in the breakdown. You can boost the low mids a little, like add some saturation, so it sort of sounds louder, but it isn't. So, how do I explain this? I feel like you can cut the lows a little bit, so cut it to about 50 or 60 hertz. So like the lows, they're not really necessary here to get that powerful bass you want in the breakdown. Because the thing is, if your bass line has way too much low in the breakdown and it's the same loudness level as the bass in your drop will sound less powerful. So try to take it down a little bit and not be so overwhelming, because it will still sound cool if it's filtered out a little, you know? Yeah. I think that's all I'd have to say about this track, to be honest. So just look into your mix down a little. Look into the details, you know, add some ear candy here and there. Try to fix that hi-hat. Make sure you have your offbeat hi-hat at least one in the middle. Then you can fill the rest with some on the sides. Yeah, I think that's about it. Don't want to keep repeating myself here. All right, last one, and then we're going to go into, you can go to the process for past atmospheres. Also balancing especially around. Oh yeah, okay, processing. I'm not sure if you have time for that, but the thing is, it's best if I show that in a track, because the processing, you can process stuff individually and it'll sound nice, but it needs to sound good within the mix. So I'll try to prepare something for next time, because this is a bit on the, like, I just don't have time for this anymore. I'd have to load up a project or something like that. But yeah, I feel like when it comes to dry, wet, and pads and atmospheres, just listen to how it sounds in the mix. I think that's the most important, especially if it's not like a main element. It needs to sound good in the mix. Good stuff. I feel like your shaker is panned to the left quite a lot. That's cool, that's fine, but try to compensate with something on the right. I do like to have at least some of the important shakers or hi-hats more centered, and then have alternating ones on the sides. So having a shaker on the side is cool, but at least have one that's in the middle or a bit on the right to balance it out a little. What I would also really like is that I think this is like your main element. Dun, 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 dun. It would be nice to have some sort of answer to it. So it goes dun, 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 something like that. So there's a different instrument or different sample or something answering the call. Right now it's calling towards something and it's not getting an answer. It's calling towards something, it's not getting an answer. And I'm just looking for, okay, where's this resolve? Like, who is answering? Please, someone open the door. My pizza's getting cold. Open the door, please. That's what I'm looking for. Yeah, maybe something extra, because I do feel like that little riff you got going, I'm not sure if it's strong enough to carry the whole track melodically. I feel like the song is really begging for a bigger melody, and I think the breakdown especially it has a lot of room for that too. Dun, dun, dun. Dun, 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 dun. Dun, 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 dun. Dun, 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 dun. Yeah, you can copy that melody. I won't copyright it, don't worry. You can steal it. Just put me in the collaboration credits when you release it. No, just kidding. But you can use a melody. But that's something that I'm hearing. That's like, oh, there's room for something like that. Like a cool little plucky sound with a lot of reverb or echo to make it, you know, more euphoric, a bit bigger. And then you can have, for example, a little pluck that you would use in the breakdown, maybe to build some tension. You can bring that towards the drop where it goes dun 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 dun. They can get like this really rhythmic, because everything is very groovy, you know. It's just asking for dun 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 dun. That's kind of what it's asking for. The answer is in the breakdown. All right, let me check that again. I hear something, but it's very silent, very quiet. It needs to be more present. So that's why I'm kind of saying that, you know, it needs an answer. Because I don't feel like it's present like enough right now. But yeah. yeah, take it with however you like, man. It's just my idea of how to improve your song, because right now the melodic elements are very like set back in the mix. They're not very present. They're not really carrying the song, so it sort of feels like it's missing something. So either bring forward what you already have, or layer it with something that's a bit more in your face, that's a bit more present, that really gets that driving energy that you have. Like your drums are very driving, like very energetic, but the synths and the sounds used, the melodical elements, aren't really representing that right now, because they're either just like very mellow, or like there's no energy or no excitement in them. And that's why like the stuff I was just humming and trying to add to your track, if you have like higher pitched and like higher energetic sounds and plugs, it'll add more energy to your song, and it will really complement the plugs and sounds you already have going on right now. But you know, it's a great song, man. It's a good start. I would just keep building on this. Get some feedback from some other peeps, maybe in the Discord. You know, see what their opinions are. Maybe you can get some opinions here in the chat too. I'll let this run out. So that was the last demo for today. We're already closing in on 2 hours again. I want to keep it under 2 hours this time. We're going to keep it under 2 hours. 2 hours, I'm shutting it off, because some of these streams are getting out of hand. So long. But yeah, like a lot of great demos again today. Mike, I'll get back to you on your question the next time, or maybe I'll try to explain it through a different video or something like that, because I don't have stuff ready for it right now, and I feel like if I go into this, it'll extend the stream by another half an hour to an hour. So once I start talking about this stuff, you know, I just can't shut up. Just keep going. But I'll definitely keep it in mind. And I'm actually, you know, let me know if you guys are interested in me like doing some production videos. I did them in the past, but I feel like my production skills have increased so much by then. But I kind of quit doing videos because I always thought like there's so many people doing these production videos, like why should I, you know, bother jumping in an already oversaturated market? But yeah, it does give a nice perspective on how I do things. If anyone's interested in that, you can always try it in the live streams as well, but I will have to prepare some stuff, so I'll try to prepare it for next time, and then maybe cut it out to upload as single uploads, basically. Okay, I have 1 more minute before 2 hours, then we're cutting off. So I want to thank everyone for joining up on the stream. It's been quite busy actually. I'm really happy with also with the new moderators, Mixwarp and Pinkowicz. For those, if you haven't subscribed yet, go do that right now. Leave a like, drop a comment after everything is done. And yeah, we'll continue the discussion in the Discord. I look forward to you guys sharing your new music and ideas there. And I'll keep you posted with everything that's hot and happening with the label. There's probably this week coming up the first SEKORA Invites guest mix. But you'll have to wait and see who that's gonna be. I don't know, maybe this guy. All right. 5 seconds. 3, 2,